Hello, Meg here from I Teach Stamping, and welcome to the Friday Flip. So the Friday Flip is where we take one project idea and we flip it into something completely different. So let's go ahead and start with our inspiration card. So it's going to be this one right here. I love so many different elements of this card. My favorite's going to be the polka dot background because I love polka dots. But then I loved having a raised element here, the little bow, the sentiment. So let's take this and flip it into something completely different. We're going to start with our stamping, and I've already punched out a 2-inch circle punch out of Whisper White. And then I've got a piece of Whisper White that's going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I'm going to use the geometrical stamp set for my circle, and we're going to imitate those polka dots, but we're going to make them much bigger. So I'm just going to randomly stamp this. I don't have to worry about the middle of the card so much because we're going to be putting some layers on top of that. Okay, so now I've got that, and then the next thing that I want to stamp is going to be using Memento Black ink, and I'm going to use one of the new celebration stamp sets from Stampin' Up, the You Brighten My Day. You Brighten My Day. So now we're going to take this with our Stamp-A-Majig and our imaging sheet, and on this 2-inch circle, the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my light bulb, and I want this to be right in the middle. It could have been called You Brighten My World, but it wasn't. Okay, so we're going to ink that up, stamp it in the middle. Then we're going to go back with our sentiment. I'm going to get this nice and straight. I'm going to do the You Brighten My Day on the top of it. This good and inked up. And then I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to stamp this again. Like so. So now we're going to close this up, and we're going to bring in some other parts of our card while I let that get good and dry. So let's go ahead and bring in the base for our card. It's going to be Daffodil Delight, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. And we're going to drop our little polka dot layer on top like so. All right, next I'm going to bring in a piece of basic black that's going to be 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And we're going to stop. So we've got that part completely taken care of. And the next thing we want to do is bring in a punch. So I'm going to bring in the dotted scallop ribbon border punch and a strip of Daffodil Delight. Now this Daffodil Delight is longer than what I need, but I always like to start with it bigger and then work my way down. You'll see what I mean. So you want it to be at least 3 inches. But like I said, I went even bigger. Then we just brush all that onto the floor so that I get to clean up later. And we're going to bring in a piece of Whisper White. This is going to be 2 3/4. I had to stop and think about that. 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. So just a little bit smaller than that black piece there. I'm going to take some liquid glue. I'm going to run a strip across the bottom edge there. And we're going to attach this like so. So now I'm going to center it from left to right. This is why I like for it to be extra long, so that I can have the same amount of scallop on this end as I do on this end. And with this measurement, it's going to fit just perfect. I'm going to let that dry. So we're building little bits at a time to let things dry in the middle. I'm going to bring in my colored piece again, or my stamped piece again. We're going to color now. So I'm using the Daffodil Delight Blendabilities, and I'm just going to use the mid-tone and the light. Or start just by outlining with that mid-tone. We're going to go back in and do our light. So this is kind of the down and dirty way to do blending. All right, so there we have that. And one of the other pieces that I punched ahead of time is going to be a 2 3/8 inch scallop circle. So I'm just going to drop this onto there and peel these off. Okay, believe it or not, we're almost done, but we have a couple more things to take care of. I'm going to trim this here, So that's just with my sharp little paper snips. Then I'm going to come back with some basic black ribbon, and this is going to be the 1/8 inch taffeta ribbon. And I just want a couple dots on here of adhesive to help hold it across the middle. I'm not going to need much off the edges there, but I am going to wrap it around to the back side. Okay, so with that, I'm going to take some mini glue dots and just kiss that ribbon onto there. Let's see if third time is a charm. Yeah. Okay, we're going to wrap that around to the back side. Come over here, and I'm using my ribbon scissors. Let's see this time, since I'm not trying to hold as many things in place. Nope, still didn't. My mini glue dots are so different for me when the camera is on versus when the camera is off. Okay, they have a life of their own with the camera on. All right, so we have this, and now this layer can drop onto that basic black. Then we're going to add this here. And then the last thing we're going to do is add our little bow. So I just tied this ahead of time using the 10-second bow maker and more of that ribbon. And just like that, ta-da, we have our card. So let's go ahead and bring back in our inspiration card and take a look at the changes that we made. We kept the polka dots and we kept this layer. We moved this banner down here and kind of made it not a banner but more of a strip. We kept our bow and we kept our popped up scallop element. And so there you have it. That's all there is to this week's card. I hope that you enjoyed this week's Friday Flip. If you like this video, please be sure to like it below and also be sure to share it with your friends. Now, if you like my video tutorials, then you will definitely want to check out Stamping Family. Head on over to iteachstamping.com/SF, as in Stamping Family. The link is right below right now. This is where I put my favorite video tutorials, and as a member, you can share your projects with other people on the site as well. Thank you again for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next video tutorial. Have a great day.